Crab Orchard National Wildlife Refuge was established in 1947. It is one of the largest wildlife refuges in the Great Lakes Big Rivers region of the United States. Located west of Marion, Illinois, on the northern edge of the Ozark foothills, the 44,000-acre refuge includes 3 man-made lakes totaling about 8,700 surface acres. The refuge landscape also includes hardwood and pine forests, croplands, grasslands, wetlands, rolling hills, and a rugged terrain with slopes of 24%. Little is known of the first inhabitants of the region. Indications of their presence appears in artifacts made of stone, bone, and clay. Some of the Kaskaskia and Shawnee Indians may have lived in the Crab Orchard area, but it is more likely they used it as part of their hunting grounds. The earliest frontiersmen that we know about came into the area in the late 1700s. By the 1840s, homesteaders had established farms throughout the area that now makes up the refuge. Utilizing the abundance of game, homesteaders dined on buffalo, deer, quail, and passenger pigeons. By the 1930s, land in this area that once supported wildlife was depleted through extensive agriculture and logging practices. With the loss of habitats, some wildlife species became displaced. In 1936, the Resettlement Administration acquired 32,000 acres of this depleted land along Crab Orchard Creek. This became known as the Crab Orchard Creek Project. The original plans called for the construction of 3 lakes for recreational use and as an industrial water supply. Crab Orchard Lake was created when Crab Orchard Creek, a tributary of the Big Muddy River in southern Illinois, was dammed in the 1930s for the purposes of recreation and flood control. The Crab Orchard National Wildlife Refuge was established August 5, 1947, following the transfer of all land previously held by the Crab Orchard Creek Project and the Illinois Ordnance Plant to the United States Fish and Wildlife Services. The lake offers opportunities for boating, camping, fishing, and swimming. 2 campgrounds, Blue Heron and Crab Orchard, operate on the northern side of the lake. The Illinois Department of Natural Resources has stocked the lake with largemouth bass, and starting in 2006 has also installed artificial spawning beds in the lake's grassy bay area. Because the lake bed's eroded clay and soft muck surfaces are not suited for bass spawning. Largemouth bass have been caught in the lake weighing up to around 11 pounds. Crab Orchard Lake is located in an area of Illinois known for high sulfur coal and former coal-fired heavy industry, including the smelting and refining of heavy metals. During World War II, munitions such as TNT were produced at the Illinois Ordnance Plant north of the lake. A post-war factory used PCBs extensively. Some chemists have found that much of the lake and the watershed that drains into it seem to have been contaminated with lead and other toxic substances. Industrial activities continue on the refuge, ranging from manufacturing and storage facilities to administrative offices. Many buildings now housing industries were used in the manufacturing of explosives during World War II, and they are still used for military ordnance production today. The concrete igloos built for munition storage are now leased to private industry for storage of many types of products. Crab Orchard Refuge is unique in the National Wildlife Refuge system in having an industrial program that generates $40 million annually to the local economy. Crab Orchard Refuge is also the only national wildlife refuge to have resident youth camps, such as those operated by Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, and several churches. The refuge landscape also includes hardwood and pine forests, croplands, grasslands, wetlands, rolling hills, and rugged terrain with slopes of 24%. The 4,000-plus acre Crab Orchard Wilderness, the first wilderness area designated in the state of Illinois, is within the refuge. Annual visitation is more than 1 million visitors. Crab Orchard National Wildlife Refuge's 44,000 acres of land and water contain a wide diversity of flora and fauna. Major habitat types on the refuge include hardwood forest, agricultural land, grazing units, brushland, wetlands, and lakes. The refuge provides significant resting areas for migratory birds utilizing the Mississippi Flyway. Wintering numbers of Canada geese can peak at 200,000. A total of 700 plant species, more than 245 bird species, 33 mammal species, 63 fish species, and 44 reptile and amphibian species have been documented on the refuge. Western 24,000 acres of the refuge provide a wide range of recreational opportunities and also include a 4,000 acre wilderness area. The eastern portion, 20,000 acres, is a wildlife sanctuary and public use is greatly limited there. Crab Orchard National Wildlife Refuge is managed with 4 broad objectives: wildlife management, agriculture, recreation, and industry. The primary wildlife management objective is to satisfy the food and resting needs of wintering Canada geese and other wildlife. This objective is coordinated with the agriculture objective through cooperative farming and permittee grazing programs. Approximately 4,000 acres of cropland are managed with the help of local farmers. The farmers sharecrop the refuge land, harvesting a percentage of the crops and leaving the rest in the field for wildlife. Hay cutting and cattle grazing are also permitted on approximately 2,000 acres of refuge land. Cattle graze the pastures all summer and are removed in October to give the arriving geese undisturbed use of the area. Moist soil wetlands are also maintained to create shallow feeding areas for migrating waterfowl and shorebirds. During normal years, water levels in moist soil units are lowered during the summer to encourage the establishment of moist soil vegetation. Water levels are then raised during the fall to make the seeds produced by moist soil plants available to waterfowl. Upland habitat is maintained using fire and timber management. Controlled burning is very carefully used to remove vegetation that often is too dense and to assist with the removal of invasive plant species. The recreational objective centers largely around the refuge's 3 man-made lakes, which together exceed 8,700 acres. Hunting, fishing, camping, boating, swimming, environmental education, and wildlife observation are a part of the public use program. Wildlife can often be seen near the industrial buildings on the refuge. This has been David for Low Budget Films, Hollywood on the Gulf. Much of the visual materials here were furnished by the United States Department of Agriculture, to whom we are very grateful, but whom in no way endorse our production. Thank you for watching.